Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. And start off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to our Lord, our Savior, our Power, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. The Heavenly Father name in the Hebrew tongue is Yahweh, which interprets to means He exists, He is to be. All right. Bahashem means in the name, and Yahweh Shai is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His name means Yahweh. His name Yahweh Shai, meaning in the Hebrew tongue, He delivers. He's a savior. All right. And according to Matthew chapter 1 verse 21, He's a savior to His people, which are the children of Israel. Okay. The Israelites are scattered abroad, and that is His people, because it's evident that our Lord sprang out of the tribe of Judah, according to Hebrews chapter 7 verse 14. All right. I'm going to give double honors to the apostles of GMS. Salutations to those who are pushing out this truth and sincerity, laboring these last days. All right, staying in this holy conversation. Also salutations to those, those out there pushing this truth. Like I said, my name is Yalak Moral from the Shepherd of Bread Camp. I just want to get straight to it. We was dealing with a situation on the highways and byways where a MARTA bus operator was saying that we need a military, all right? And when we were saying a military, he's not talking about a spiritual military that's being raised up. He's talking about a physical with dealing with, weapons of war. And we cut it up, showing how weapons of war are not cardinal. Wisdom delivereth, the Lord to take vengeance. Went into all of those beautiful precepts. But right here, I just want to go and to Esau, who's from the sword, This dude right here, Esau Edom, is the sword, all right? And he never stopped fighting. See, our people, Jacob, Israel, while he was fighting, we became homeborn slaves. See, you riding a martyr bus because you became a homeborn slave. We all became homeborn slaves, all right? We went into servitude mode. But while we was in servitude mode, guess what? This dude was fighting. And very few of us, all right, very few, the elect, have been called now out of servitude mode to do a spiritual battle, but not a physical, but a spiritual fight, all right? And only very few actually are going to go into that. But as far as for the nation, we went into servitude mode. For their nation has always been warring to this very day. Ukrainians are Edomites, all right? The Russians are Edomites, all right? That's the nation that has kicked our ass and kicked the whole, have the whole world under subjection. But I want to go and start off with the basics of it, all right? Showing through this is scriptural that he was going to be ruling, all right? And going into it in the scriptures, showing how long this man has been, in power, all right? Or has been fighting, all right? Because during these times, he wasn't in power, but he has been fighting. This is how long he's been fighting. So I'm going to go to Genesis chapter 27. And I'm going to start off at verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? If those who don't know the history, you can read up on it. Esau was supplanted, right? And by Jacob. Jacob wore the garments and pretty much got the blessing. It was all set up in the spirit, all right? It was all set up in the spirit, all right, for this to happen. And he's crying now because he got the blessing. Isaac was like, listen, I can't take it back. I already blessed Jacob. And now Esau wept, asked him for a blessing. And here's what the blessing he's going to get. He said, bless me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, behold, our dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. That's why they're able to go into these damn submarines and go look for a damn Titanic ship for $250,000 and be stuck up underneath there, because they're able to do whatever the hell they want. They're able to go whatever the hell they want and do the things that they want, all right? It says, and by thy sword shalt thou live. And by what? And by thy sword shalt thou live. So we know that sword is a killing instrument, all right? Revelations, the 6th chapter. Let me go there. And shall serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. So he's been warring. And this is the prophecy. And he was going to rule by what? Live by what? The sword. All right. And what's dominating, what makes people bow down is because of the sword. All right. Revelations chapter 6, verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him. Power, all right? Power was given. This is nothing that they discovered on their own. The Lord gave them this power, right? The Lord gave them this brain, all right? He gave them this power, all right? To him that sat there on to take peace from the earth. They was given power to take peace from the earth. That they should kill one another, all right? They have been warring for a very long time. So we're going to go into some of those wars. And one of the ones we can actually start off with is with Alexander the Greek, because that right there will be the point, I'd say, where the Edomites pretty much gained the dominance, aside from the 1,000 years where they were put into shut down in Revelations, all right? The Dark Ages. But then they came back out fighting. But from that point of time, Alexander, and they've been fighting before that, because who is next to the Medo-Persians? Hammon, which Hammon went back to what? The Agagite lineage, which went back to who? Which went back to Amalek, which Amalek goes back to who? Which Amalek goes back to Esau, Edom, who was given what? Who was given the sword, all right? And that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. So Jacob is meant to serve Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We were meant to be this servants, all right? But servants unto our Lord, okay? So we you know, our thing wasn't military. Now, back in the ancient world, all right, the house of David that was established, you had mighty men that fought, all right? That fought. And these same mighty men are being raised up in these last days, but they were fighting what? Spiritual. It's a spiritual battle, all right? We're fighting a spiritual battle. Okay, we're not taking up any weapons or anything of that. That's stupid. All right, because this man was given power. He was given that power. You keep that's given from the Lord. That's like fighting against God. That's literally fighting against God. That's literally trying to block a dunk from Ja Morant. He was given the ability to jump over your ass. It just is pointless. You know what I'm saying? So let's get straight into it. Let's start off with First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1. Let me put this on focus. Do not disturb real quick. And before I go there, let's jump down to Daniel's, the 8th chapter. Because during the time of Daniel, he was given a prophecy. See, this martyr bus operator he not reading. You know, he far out. He don't know what the hell's going on. He just saying shit like a TikTok video. He's talking like a TikTok algorithm. And that's how most of our people talk. They talk like a damn TikTok algorithm or Instagram story posts, you know, or you know, pretty much, and they just reiterate the same shit that was said on a post, you know. That sounds good because it sounds, but it's not true. Wakanda, you know, it sounds good, but it's not true. It's just a fairy tale situation. There ain't no vibranium in a land, a visible land where we are. All right. And if any land is like that, it's going to be the kingdom of heaven. All right. Which is true. All right. That's where you see the so-called UFOs coming out of. All right. But the point I'm going to get at is the history of. This is the one who will run America are of the nation of Edom, all right? And the nation of Edom are the ones who run America, run Russia, run the whole world, okay? The so-called whites, but not all right? But predominantly those, especially the heads of these societies, are Edomites, all right? No matter what they look like. They could look like so-called Chinese, but a lot of them are Edomites, all right? So this ain't a color thing. But was used as an indicator because he came out red. But it's been mixing of the seed throughout years. So it's not everything you got to deal with it by the spirit. All right. This is Daniel's chapter 8. And I'll just go straight down to the point. 8 and 20. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. All right. Let's stop right there. Now, the Media Persia Empire, you go throughout the history, All right, now you know Alexander the Great conquered the provinces, the 160 provinces, which the Persians, the Medo Persians, rule. How you know about the going to the 160 provinces? You go to the book of Esther, because Esther married Xerxes. Esther 1:1, and now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto in Ethiopia, over 170, over 107 and 20 provinces. Okay, 127 provinces. Okay, Salakia. That in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace, which is Shushan, the palace. That's Shushan. Modern day Shushan will be in Iran. All right, which Iran. I mean, yeah, which would be Persia. Let's go to Shushan. Shushan. Yep, in Iran. Okay. It's funny they got the ancient landmark of Elam. Okay. Modern Iran, the ancient capital of Elam. Okay. So it says, and the rough goat is the king of Grecia. All right, now we know who became the king of Grecia, which we'll go into in First Maccabees, which is Alexander. All right, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Okay, now that which being broken, whereas four stood for it, four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. All right, and these pretty much where the four that was gonna rule after him was where we gonna get another war, where it's pretty much the king of the south and the king of the north, where you get the Ptolemaic dynasty and the Seleucid dynasty. All right, but the actual four will be Cassandra, Lasamaius, I just said it, Ptolemy and Seleucus. Okay, all right, and okay. The reason why I say yep, he shot the sword one. It says for it shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power, right? Because they split it up. It wasn't they wasn't his children. He split up his kingdom when he fell sick. So this right here, all right, just going into it, all right. This is how long they've been warring. so and the reason why I said before that, because you had Haman. You had Haman, who was part of that. You had Haman, who was part of that. That actual army, the general, one of the generals of Xerxes. Okay, and what was he trying to do? What was he was in war mind. His mind was war. He was war minded, man. He was in war mode. All right, because his whole thing was to what was the whole thing about the book of Esther about was Purim, was that Lot fell on him. He was actually trying to get the whole nation of Israel killed and destroyed. So this is how much they've been planning. All right, y'all niggas bugging out over 5Gs and shit like that. This dude right here, they've been planning since then. There's more than a 5G tower. All right, they got your kids against you. They got your woman against you. They got your own body fighting against you. They got your own mind fighting against you. All right, the food you eat, the TV programming, the music you listen to. All right, all of that plays effect. All right, so you fighting a war without even seeing them now. All right. You know, most people aren't fighting because they being conquered by it, because they don't even know they even under attack. And then they'll tell you, oh yeah, 5G. So now you focus on 5G, but you forgot about all the other fucking devices that have been out there before 5G. Like 5G became the biggest. This is the stamp hold. Oh man, that's an attack right there. What about all these other agendas? You know, putting the drugs inside of the community, that was an attack. All right. Single parent households. Oh, everything they did was designed. So this, when you go into this just shows you, and it's a good read. It shows you the mind of Haman. Haman is an Edomite, okay, and he comes from out the exact tribe of Amalek, all right, and his whole mindset was to destroy the children of Israel, all right, and he had a perpetual hatred, and he did not like Mordecai, all right, because Mordecai wouldn't bow down to him, all right. This is how you know Esther 3:9. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. All right. Notice how it stamps that. The Jews' enemy. All right. But what were we doing during the time of all the Medo-Persian Empire? We were being servants. You know how you know about that? All right, Nehemiah, all right, Zerubbabel. We were servants. Zerubbabel was the king's bodyguard. All right. Nehemiah, he even said it. Nehemiah was a cupbearer. All right. So you might say, oh, these brothers was coons. But it was set up that we went off, so we became servants. But my point is that while we were doing all the serving, you got these Edomites who were war ready. That's what the hell was going on. Now, don't get me wrong. When the Most High lifted the spirit up on Jake could go from 0 to 100 real quick. All right, but Nehemiah said this. Nehemiah 9 and 36. Behold, we are servants this day, and for the land that thou gave unto our fathers to eat the fruit thereof and the good thereof, behold, we are servants in it. So this is from the mouth of a prophet. Nehemiah himself said, we are servants this day. All right, and what are we doing in this day? We serving, it don't matter what you're doing. You serving Esau. All right, it don't matter what you're doing inside. If you doing anything inside of his thing, you serving him. All right, but now the war, the fight, all right, is when you doing these videos, when you waking up a brother, when you pushing forth righteousness. All right, that's the spiritual fight. All right, so that's the battle that we doing. Okay, and Nehemiah and they did a great act because they helped with building the wall, and Zerubbabel took part in building the temple. So it was a two-way situation going on, but this was a thing that was spiritually rebuilding the temple, all right, which is the men, pursuant to 1 Corinthians 3 and 9, or 3 and 16. You're the temple of the Most High. So we building up that dealing with the men, right? I just lost my train of thought real quick. I jumped around. Yeah. Right. So, so it says, and a rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Right. So let's go back to it. That right there is, let's get it. First Maccabees 1:1, and it happened after that. Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, all right, which the Macedonian, the son of Philip, when you track it back, they go all the way back to being Amalek, all right, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians, pursuant to exactly what it said in Daniel's 8 and 20. So here it is. You had the dude next to the Persians the whole time. Matter of fact, king of Macedonia, right? Let me just get this, man. Um, let me see something real quick. Salakia. Oh, that's in the rest of Esther. Additions to Esther. For Ammon, this is the same Hammon, right? It just spelled different. It's without the H now. For Hammon, a Macedonian, the son of Hamadatha, being indeed, this is the additions to Esther, or the rest of Esther, 7 and 10. I believe that would be in the Apocrypha, because I got my phone app. I believe the in the scriptures it would say the rest of Esther will be chapter 17. Excuse me for it, because I'm using my phone. Right? It says the additions to Esther for Haman, a Macedonian. All right? He was a Macedonian. This is the same one where it says he was an enemy to the Jews. Now it's going more into him. The son of Hamadatha, right? Being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood. So no, he was not a Persian. And far distant from our goodness, and as a stranger received of us. Okay? Had so far forth obtained the favor that we showed toward every nation, as that he was called our father and was continually honored out of all the next person unto the king. Okay, he was being honored by the king. You say you saw when he was giving him his ring, right? I just going into this whole connection of this history, right? But he, not bearing his dignity, went about to deprive us of our kingdom and life. This man was at war with who? With us. Who is the us he's talking about? This is Esther. Esther is a Hebrew Israelite. Okay, this is who this whole thing is about. This is what I'm saying. This dude never stopped fighting. This dude never stopped fighting. So he went about, not us. If Jake able to serve and make a good salary and get his his wife, a little side chick, and take care of his kids and a house, a car, Jake is good. Jake is not going out their way to deprive another nation of them. They don't do it now. All right? They don't do it now. Jake, most so-called blacks, Latino, Native American beef be amongst each other. They don't go outside themselves. If they could take care of their whole thing and live it up and be they going, that's the truth. Right? This is how you know who been fighting. So you can't say, oh no, we gotta pick up men. Nah, this has been, he been on this time for a long time. All right. And it says that he's gonna go down with this, with the bones, Job, what's that, 2011? The sins of his bones. Like he when you go into that, the bones, you dealing with what's that called? Archaeology, right? Then that's what you're going into the archaeology, and you seeing who he was. All right, you go into archaeology, you see the study of what this animal was. Oh, this was a carnivore. When you go into the bone, this nigga's a fighter. He's a demon. He's on demon time all the time. All right, it says to deprive us of our kingdom and life. Meanwhile, the Media Persians is ruling, right? Having by manifold and cunning deceits. He was doing it by manifold and cunning deceits. That means a lot of deceptions. Sought of us the destruction, as well as Mordecaius, all right, who saved our life and continually procured our good, as also of blameless Esther partake of our kingdom with their holy nation. For by these means he thought, finding us destitute of friends, to have translated the kingdom of the Persians to the Macedonians. Check that out. He wanted to translate the kingdom of the Persians to the Macedonians. So now what happens in the book of Maccabees, what happens with the he-goat, what happened with Alexander the Great, you get it. That happens. First Maccabees 1:1. And that happened after that. Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. Okay, so this is pursuant to Daniel's the eighth chapter. But this is not just this isn't what it started. They've been warring, they've been plotting this since Haman was around. And they've been warring and plotting since Esau he can get that blessing. He since when he messed up, he been warring since Cain. All right, we could go further back than that. All right, I'm just getting the nation of them doing it. All right, this is where you get them as a nation. All right, dealing with Edom. Okay, but they all always want to smoke. They ain't let us pass through when we was coming out of Egypt. They met us with swords. You know, this the type of time he always been on. All right, when we were coming out of Egypt, we was going through, I believe, the King's Highway, and they wouldn't let us pass through. We said, listen, man, we take anything, we gonna pay you back double. We ain't gonna nothing. We don't take nothing from y'all, but if we do, we render back whatever we did. Pretty much like, man, we just want to pass through, pretty much. And they met out with swords, and they ain't let us pass through. All right. Check this out, verse 2. And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. All right. And went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations. So what ends of the earth you went through, nigga? What you went through, the ends of East Point and motherfucking Smyrna on a martyr bus? And you talking like you, oh man, we gonna raise up army, nigga? What army? An army of what? A bunch of smoked out niggas with tattoos all over their body? Get the fuck out of here. You ain't gonna raising up no damn army against these dudes, the Most High. But once again, this was prophecy from the book of Daniel. This is how the Lord wrote the book. If the Most High, if you write a movie, you not those characters is gonna fit these situations. This is how God did it. You can't just say, well, you gonna beat war against beat Batman. Nigga, Batman is written to win against every motherfucker he go against. That's just that's how it go. You know that he gonna end up kicking somebody's ass. Bane, the Joker, the Riddler, all of them. Right? You see? Well, it's the same way. All right? But what I'm saying is he's not gonna overall win. But through those means, hey, even Superman got his ass kicked by Batman. Through those means, okay? Right? Of this dealing with the sword, okay? All right. Point is, that's what I'm just trying to say, that the Lord read it, that's not how we gonna win by this dude. All right, we are gonna come into power, and he's gonna be put up of the subjection, and he's gonna be his whole nation is gonna be cast away according to the scriptures. But that's not gonna be done by us, by the ways of how carnality. All right, that's gonna be done by the Heavenly Father Himself. And these motherfuckers gonna war against each other. Russia, America, they gonna go at war. All right, they gonna kill each other. Who became tributaries unto him, and after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. All right, so they became tributaries, meaning they started paying taxes, they paid homage, they became servants. All right. That's why you got niggas doing what? Today, in HSBCUs, black colleges, you got niggas pledging, niggas, all right, your army, your men, they more in tune with what? What is their fraternities named after? Greeks. They are part of Greek fraternities. That's how far he kicked our ass. That's how far they kicked ass. That to this day, 2023, you go to a school, you're the highest rank, for you to be prestige in this world is to be part of a Greek fraternity. And you gonna tell me, this dude, you gonna war? This dude never stopped warring, man. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, man. It says, and took spoils of many nations, and so much that the earth was quiet before him. I mean, he shut the whole earth down. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. Right? He felt himself just like now. All right? And a few, the proud, the brave, And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings, and who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Verse 6, wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he yet alive. That's why it says, not in his power, not in pretty much like his power, like as if he had kids. They parted the kingdom, okay, amongst men who were outside of his family. Not they were Edomites, not the house of Edom. They were Edomites, but they wasn't like how his father was thing. They wasn't none of his children in that sense. All right, if it makes sense. All right, but they were the household of Edom. All right, and so they warred, and that's when you get Daniel's 11, the king of the north and the king of the south, because they warred, and then they warred against the Roman Empire. All right, and the Roman Empire ended up kicking their ass. All right, and then out of the Roman Empire, you had America, and then out of them they was warring. That's where you get the Spanish. Matter of fact, I was by a place the other day. The French and Indian War, 1745. See, now this is when you're dealing with the American history part of it. All right, French and Indian War. They fought against the French. They fought against the Spaniards. They fought against the Britons. Okay, the Boston massacre. All right, over the tea, the paying the taxes and all of that stuff. That was it right there. It's kind of like skipped it to the right of it, the Boston massacre. Crossing of the Delaware River and the Battle of Trenton. This is another war. Oh, here you go. Boston massacre. Okay. 1770, in honor of Crispus, the first man to die in the Revolution, in American Revolution, former slave, seaman, patriot hero. So, Jake, when we did fight, we fought for who? We fought as being servants. All right, we fought as being servants. Like I said, very few was fighting for that full freedom, and that's where that comes from. And during these times, you can say, well, we fought. Martin Luther King fought. Martin Luther King didn't fight for freedom. He fought to be equal. Okay, it wasn't being. This is a different thing. This spiritual battle is to be separated apart. Okay, you got the colonial America and the early republic. Okay, the Revolutionary War. Okay, the Revolutionary Wars. Okay, so Revolutionary War. Then you had after the Revolutionary, after fighting the Spaniards and the Britons and the French, then you had a Civil War. All right, this is how long this man been fighting. Then you had a Civil War. All right, look, the whiskey rebellion. This is going into the military academies, West Point, New York, March 16th. Yeah, well, where's your academies at? That's what I'm saying. The Barbary Wars, 1801 to 1805. And like I said, Daniel's 11 goes into it too. The Punic Wars, because that's what you get Hannibal Barca, right? Hannibal Barca, right? He fought against who? He was in Italy. That's where you get a lot of the Sicilians that was actually black, right? But he fought against and got his ass kicked by the Roman Empire. All right? The Roman Empire kicked the Grecians' ass, and then they kicked Hannibal Barca. That's all in Daniel's 11. This is all pretty pure history, okay? And like I said, because I mentioned it. Daniel's 11:1. Also, I in the first year of Darius the king of Mede, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. And now will I show the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all. The one who was far richer was, if I'm not mistaken, that was Xerxes. Xerxes was far richer than they all. That's where you get him from 300. We had all the gold. Okay, he was far richer. All right, and by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Greece. All right, and it says, and he ruled those provinces, and a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with great dominion. In fact, let's look at this. Xerxes riches. Excuse me, my internet. They said Xerxes was $420 billion. Okay. Between the two, Xerxes was the wealthier. Was the wealthier king. It's because he had more access to more resources and wealth than Artaxerxes. Xerxes was also better to control and manage finances, which allowed him amass tremendous fortune. I believe it was due to they melted a gold statue and due to trade. But let's see how I don't want to stir off too far. He was born into a royal family and had access to great wealth and resources. He was a skilled military leader and conquered many lands during his reign. He was also a great builder and oversaw the construction of many impressive monuments and buildings. This is it right here. Although his grandfather Cyrus had been a friend to Babylon, Xerxes had subjugated the city and melted down the golden statue of Marduk. So there was a big golden statue city in Marduk, all right, in Babylon. Now, Babylon was defeated by the Medo-Persian Empire. Babylon will be the head, which when you go into the Daniels, it was represented gold. It was the gold represented the splendor, all right, and it was it was splendor. So it was it had its riches. So when they conquered, he specifically took a statue and melted it down for the gold, okay? And that's where the larger of his wealth came from, okay? So that's it right there, man. I just wanted to read that part. I mean, we read it in that short. Here it is. Although his grandfather Cyrus had been a friend of Babylon, Xerxes had subjugated the city and melted down the golden statue of Marduk, their patron deity. This was a particular affront to the dignity and tradition of Babylon, because of one of the religious duties of a ruler was to grasp the hands of the statue of Marduk at the New Year's festival in order to ensure and continue prosperity throughout the land. Babylon thus enjoyed a prestige among the cities of Mesopotamia as a site of this ritual. All right. Cyrus had been diligent in officiating at the festival, as had Darius, but Xerxes considered it a matter of little consequence. He ignored the established relationships with former allies, referring to himself as the king of the Persians and the Medes, and treated all as subject to his rule. Babylon revolted against him twice before he laid siege to it and crushed the rebellion. All right. The Persian Wars. All right. And so, okay. I don't want to get too far out of dealing with Esau or Edom, but that was just for the sake of understanding that. All right, and that's he stirred up all against the realm of Greece, and we can see it, the Persian Wars. Another thing, they're not Grecian. The Grecians is Elam. All right, you see how you seen Elam and Shushan, and it said Elam. Those are the So, excuse me. That'll be Jaffert. Excuse me. So, I apologize about that. Jaffert, what goes back to the son of Jaffert was Javan. All right, which means Greece. Okay, Japheth. All right. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, let me run back. Verse 3. And a mighty king shall stand up that shall rule with dominion, with great dominion, and do according to his will. And when he shall stand up, his kingdom shall be broken and shall be divided toward the four winds of heaven. Sound the same as Daniel's 8 and First Maccabees, and not to his prosperity, nor according to his dominion which he ruled, for his kingdom shall be plucked up, even for others beside those. Okay, so it's gonna be split up between the four. Okay, and the king of the south shall be strong, and one of his princes, and he shall be strong above him, and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion. So, king of the south, king of the north. All right, that's dealing with the war amongst the families, Ptolemaic and Seleucid wars. Okay. I just want, I don't make it too crazy long, but sometimes, man, just gotta know that, man. This dude stayed in war mode, man. Oh man, excuse me, y'all. So, okay, they were known as the Syrian Wars. Excuse me, the Syrian Wars. The Syrian Wars were a series of 6 wars between the Seleucid and Ptolemaic kingdom. They had 6 wars against each other. Now these were all friends. All right? But just like you see what America was who? They were the Britons themselves. Them motherfuckers is motherfuckers who came from there. How they fought? That's why it say about the mother in Jeremiah. All right? They fought against their own mother. These dudes is crazy. They gonna fight. All right, these dudes came out. They ruled. They conquered everything. Now they fighting over. I think they wanted somebody to sit in the seat. Seleucid wanted to sit somebody in the seat. I got to get brushed up on those exact points. But they wanted to sit somebody in the seat. It was a whole game. It's kind of like, what they do today, where they set up puppets. We're gonna put this guy in the seat over there, but that's his son. You know what I mean? But so now he rules 2 areas. You see what I'm saying? But this is what they were warring over. Okay? And in Ptolemaic, it says the Syrian wars were a series of 6 wars between the Seleucid and Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt, successor states to the Alexander the Great. See? Empire. This is going back to the same thing. During the 3rd and 2nd centuries BC, over the region called Syria, one of the few avenues into Egypt. All right? And a few avenues into Egypt. All right. So this is where you get the Cleopatras and the Alexandrian Library and you dudes who want to be Egyptologists. These are your Egyptologists that you're following, because they kicked the true Egyptians' ass. Them niggas fell far back, and these are the ones who conquered the area. So whatever studies y'all, oh man, I'm the ancient Kemet. Yeah, all of that stuff you getting from is from these Edomites who kicked their ass. All right, that's where you getting it from, because they the ones who became the Egyptians now. All right, these conflicts drained the material and manpower of both parties and led to their eventual destruction, conquest by Rome and Parthia. All right, they are briefly mentioned in the biblical books of the Maccabees and the Bible. So the Bible's true, man. It's part of the Wikipedia search. Now, and with that note, the Romans are Edomites as well. So you see, that will be the 4th kingdom. And that's in Daniel's. All right. We gonna rule with iron. All right. That iron part. Okay. All right. So you get the first Syrian war. Let me get this. Theos and Bernice. This is part of First Syrian War, major victories for the Ptolemies. Antiochus took the Ptolemaic control areas in coastal Syria, southern Anatolia in his initial rush. Ptolemy reconquered these territories by 271 BC, extending Ptolemaic rule as far as Caria into most of Cilicia, with Ptolemy's eye focused eastward. His half-brother Magas declared his province Cyrenaica to be independent. It would remain independent until 250 BC, when it reabsorbed into the Ptolemaic kingdom, but not before having triggered a sequence of Ptolemaic and Seleucid court intricates, war, and ultimately leading to the marriage of Theos and Bernice. So we're going to look at that Theos and Bernice because all right, the Second Syrian War, okay? The war concluded, I want to jump down. The war concluded around 253 BC with the marriage of Antiochus to Ptolemy's daughter, Bernice, Syra. Okay. All right. So yeah, the war concluded 253 BC with the marriage of Antiochus to Ptolemy's daughter, Bernice Sarah. Antiochus repudiated his previous wife, Laodice, and turned over substantial dominion to her. He died in Ephesus in 256 BC, right, poisoned by Laodice. All right, and we Laodice is one of the, if I'm not mistaken, one of the churches was poisoned by Laodice. According to some sources, Ptolemy died in the same year. So, Antiochus, the war concluded with marriage of Antiochus. All right, of Antiochus to Ptolemy's daughter, Bernice Sarah. Okay. Bernice Sarah was an Egyptian princess and a Seleucid queen regent. See, she was Seleucid queen by marriage to Antiochus and regent during the minority of her son Antiochus in 246. They was doing a lot of shit. They was kidnapping. They was wilding. Yeah. Queen Bernice claimed the regency for her infant son, Antiochus III. Laodice imprisoned Bernice. All right. She the one who killed her poisoned husband. And kidnapped and murdered Antiochus III, placing her own son on the throne. In a public confrontation with Antiochus' chief magistrate, possibly about her son having been replaced with a look-alike, she struck and killed him. Bernice then pled with the assembled crowd for her son's life, not aware of his fate, gaining her sympathy from throughout the Seleucid cities. This sympathy marked her as a stronger foe and led to her execution by Laodice. All right, Ptolemy raised an army and rushed to Antioch in an attempt to save his sister, but arrived too late. Bernice's female attendants conspired eventually along with her brother to publish falsified letters proving that Bernice was alive so that Ptolemy III could seize Bernice's dowries. Ptolemy III set about to avenge his sister murdered by invading Syria and having Laodice killed. So this is what was going on. So the reason why I wanted to read that part was because the king of the north and the king of the south, it says, in the end of the years they shall join themselves together for the king's daughter of the south. All right, in which, so I'll be accurate, which the king of the south, hold on now, let me get this right, because what's south? Is Egypt south? Let me just, king of the north and south Bible, king of the hill, king of the north and south. And all you gotta do is look at the map. Right. So Seleucus was king of the north, and the Ptolemies was king of the south. It's, it just let me see. Syria to Egypt. Matt. Oh shit. Why look at that? I don't know why I went there. All right, so you can see it. It makes sense looking at it on the map. I just Googled it in there. But they did map. The king of the south is Egypt. Egypt is south. Syria is north. So Seleucus ruled Syria. Ptolemies ruled Egypt. All right. So we get all that. The females is warring. This is what the hell's going on. All right. This whole Daniel's 11 is those Syrian wars, all the way up into Rome, all the way up into Hannibal Barca. These are all the wars for the whole Edomite line. The Most High dedicated a chapter to these dudes. So who the fuck are you coming with your martyr bus saying that we gotta raise up an army? They got Most High dedicated. There's at least, there's a lot of chapters about Esau. I mean, it's starting from the 8th. You could just say it jumps around, but the 7th mentions him. All right, cause the brass, the iron, the 8th mentions him. The he-goat, the little horns, supposed to speak great things. This is all Esau, Edom ruling and kicking ass, prophetically fulfilling prophecy. Okay. All right. But yeah, this part was with the marriage. And in the years they shall join themselves together for the king's daughter of the south with Ptolemy shall come to the king of the north to make an agreement, but she shall not retain the power of the arm, neither shall he stand nor his arm, but she shall be given up, and they that brought her, and he that begat her, and he that strengthened her in these times. Right. And that was the whole situation with Bernice and Laodice. Laodice wasn't, she was the side wife. She wasn't with that shit. She wanted her son on the throne, and she poisoned the husband and kicked this, set her son up. All right, and they were, as you read, it was a few marriages being done in that sort of context. What was we? Yeah, the war concluded around with the marriage of Antiochus to Ptolemy's daughter. All right, the king of the south is Ptolemy. All right, Antiochus reputed his previous wife, okay, Laodice, and turned over substantial domain to her. He died in Ephesus, but he's poisoned by Laodice. Some sources say, it had to be because then she came, kidnapped the kid. She was wild. Laodice started wilding. She like, fuck that. My son gonna sit on the throne. All right. And we were reading. So this has been going on. These are internal wars within this family. So it's no such strange thing that Ukrainians is warring with Russians. These niggas, these niggas, they know this shit that is going on. That, bro, you violate. They got a history. They the real Bloods, and they got a history. They been crashing out. They been crashing out. All right, they been crashing out, man. And so while they were warring, what were we doing? We started becoming Greeks. They kicked our ass, all right? And a lot of times they kicked our ass because they was upset. They were losing battles. So, you mad. You get your ass kicked. You gonna let who you think Esau would let his anger on Jake? First Maccabees 1 and 18. And made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. I'm on verse 16. Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of two realms. This is them. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof. And after that, Antiochus has smitten Egypt. He returned again in 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude. And he kicked eyes and entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and the vessels thereof. I mean, we were serving, brothers were serving in the temple, man. But these dudes were warring. They were warring on their mind. They were just coming down. All right, but all throughout the Maccabees is these wars, and then later on in the Maccabees, I believe, is it Jonathan? I think Jonathan. A few brothers teamed up with Rome and kicked the Grecians' ass, and that's how Rome really started dominating. Like I said, don't get me wrong, when Jake fought, whoever Jake fought with ended up winning. Let's just say that. But like these dudes was war ready. The war was all in their mind, always on their mind. Jake only gonna fight when they really gotta fight. Other than that, Jake is trying to chill. But Esau, as you see, the nigga just thought, hey, you know what? Let me get another round. He won't chill. He won't stop. That's why it says his eyes, he not satisfied. His eyes are never satisfied. Sins out without fatness. As hell, cannot stop. Pretty much, let me get that. Yeah, Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. He's a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell. That's it. And as is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. That's him. That's him. The Grecians. Oh man, you know what? I wanna take over my own nation. I want to take over myself. I want to conquer my thoughts. I want to put a chip in my ass. Like that. That's him, man. He just going far. He's bugged out. He won't stop. Program to kill, steal, and destroy. KSD squad. Where was I? Damn. Let me go back to this photo. Mexican-American War, Battle of Chapultepec. All right? This is another war. Mexican-American War. Yeah, where was you at? Right? The immediate cause of the Mexican-American War was a disputed boundary between the United States and Texas on a New Sea Strip. Mexico did not recognize Texas as a legitimate American territory. They didn't because it wasn't. And Texas' admission to the United States antagonized Mexican officials and citizens. So they warred. It's like they fought against the Native Americans. They warred, man. They didn't stop. When they came after Christopher Columbus, he came here. He wouldn't stop warring. They never stopped. When they got their ass kicked by Rome, when Rome finally fell, pursuing back to that Revelations, the 20th chapter, when Rome finally, not fell in its totality, but the deadly wound, pursuing to Revelation 13, they eventually got healed and came back and did the whitewashing. All right. The rebirth, the whole what you call that, man? Renaissance. another word I was thinking about. It's not coming to mind, but yeah, man. And see, Esau has this painted here. This is just American history alone. And look how much it's going for. How far it's going. Civil War, Battle of Fort Sumter, Charleston Harbor, South Carolina. So this is a civil war now. This is them fighting amongst they are okay. They done fought off the Britons and Spaniards. They done fought off the Native Americans. They done fought off the Mexicans. Then after all of that was done, you know, like when brother sent out the interview with Killer Kev, these Bloods dudes in jail. After they cut everybody up, them niggas started looking at each other like fool. Like, yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? You know, because war was in their heart. It says that in the scriptures. War is constantly in his heart. Let me get that, man. Because that describes Esau to a T. You know what being Jake heart? Pussy. Excuse my language, but that's what it is. Jake wanted to be laid up with the joints. Which ain't nothing wrong, but not when you in a battle. Not when you got an enemy out there, you know. That dude get off his martyr bus, bro. He ain't thinking about a weapon, bro. He thinking about finding some old ass 65-year-old. He looking for the young joint. But needless to say, that's what's in Jake's heart. Literally, that's what's in Jake's heart, bro. You ain't gonna tell me that otherwise. All right, I'm a Jake. Jake, it was on Jake mind is that. That's what's on Jake mind. You know, now spiritually, the brothers in the truth, you know, you got the kingdom of heaven. Well, in this carnal body, that's on your mind. All right? You know, I mean, you know, if you got your financial affairs, that's what's on your mind. If not, you know, you think about, oh, man, I got to get my finances right. Then when you get your finances right, what's going to be on your mind? Oh, shit, let me get some. That's what's going to be on your mind. All right? And I'm talking about in a realistic, in this fleshly way, that's what's on your mind. When you're in the spirit, hey, I don't know how long this video is going, but this is being in the spirit. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Shabbat, Shema Kakadash for doing that. Because this is on a brother's mind in the spirit. Yo, I got to do a video. Yo, yeah, this brother said that. I got to do a video on this. I got to do a video about that. That's, you know, just edifying. That's being in the spirit. Okay? Walk in the spirit so you're not fulfill the deeds of the flesh, right? Other than that, if you're not walking the spirit, bro, you know you're in the deeds of the flesh, and the thing you're gonna be doing that's what's on there. That's what's in your heart. But it was in this dude's heart. Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. That's it. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. That's it. War's in his mind. That's it. As long as you got that, this dude, just like a gun got a loaded gun got a bullet inside his chamber. Inside of Esau's, he is a gun. He is a sword. So war is in the chamber. He got a bullet in his mind for you. All right? Why you think Jake, them cops shooting? I see a cop, he shot a young Jake, and then the niggas still fucking put the handcuffs on him. You like, God, like, damn. Did the bullet not do bad? One dude jumped out the window. The cop shot him. It was like, damn. Shot him after he jumped out the window. The Jake running around, then he still put the cuffs on him, like, and the Jake sliding all over the floor. Another Jake got shot. The cop got near him. It's like, damn. And these Jakes is young. Just judgment of the Heavenly Father, but war is in his heart. He got a bullet in his mind, bro. And he's a bullet in his chamber. He's about to blow that shit out. That's what's going on. Excuse me. I'm going to just go through a few of these other ones. And it says, the Civil War, 1863, the decisive year, siege of Vicksburg, 70 AD, they besieged Jerusalem. That was a war. They would never stop warring. All right. United States Coast Guard Academy, New London, Connecticut. Set up. Okay. Spanish-American War. All right. Philippine insurrection and Moro rebellion. Niggas went to the Philippines for what? What the fuck the Philippines got to do with anything? World War I. Let's go. That's what's happening now. That's where you get the first war was passed. The second, the The first, the second woe is past. Is that third coming quickly? This is it. World War One. This is in Revelations. All right, this is in Revelations. This is speaking about this man. This is what he gave him that giant sword for. This is what the Lord, the Heavenly Father gave this devil this sword for. Revelations 9-12. One woe is past. Behold, there come two more woes hereafter. Revelations 11-14. The second woe is past. Behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Well, that's talking about world war. Woe means destruction. Okay? It's specific about a woe because it's talking about world war. All right? This nigga had the whole world fighting. You ain't never had. Only thing you can have is a household fight with your damn kids or your wife. This nigga got a whole world fighting, man. So come on, man. He's able to manage a world war. You can't even manage your house. This nigga manages world fucking wars. All right? So, you ain't gonna war against this dude. He manages a world war. That's just crazy when the whole world is at war. How the hell you manage that? So this is how far he has the mind to do that shit. He's into it. Yeah, we got coordinates. He's calculating with the Navy, with the fucking Air Force, with this, with that. I mean, come on, man. You crazy. World War II. Pearl Harbor. All right. It went with the situation with Japan. World War II. Operation Overlord. Normandy landings. I mean, this nigga, yo, man, he's crazy. World War II, European theater. Battle of the Bulge. Crossing the Rhine. V-Day. I'm just going. Operation Iceberg. Battle of Okinawa. I mean, he discovered other people's territory, then pulled up on them. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. He dropped, made the earth quiet. He dropped that. That's Revelations, the 13th chapter. He made fire fall from heaven. Niggas never seen that. Everybody chill. Everybody fell back. He pulled up on them and they land and smoked them. You want to fight against this man, you stupid. Gold Star families, remembering those who lost. American flagpole. It's respect because the Lord blessed him with that. So you got to respect Esau's sword. It says that in Romans 13. Cold War. Berlin airlift. Now nigga just came out of a war. Hold on, how long was it, man? 1940, he dropped 2 bombs and then went into a Cold War. Shit. Korean War. South Korea, North Korea, let's go. Let's take over their land. Pulled up on them and took over these niggas' land. To where the South Korean like fuck you, North Korea. Bro, you part of them. How did you even split you know who split you up? But that's how bad this dude is, bro. He got the fuck you, North Korea. No, fuck you, South Korea. No, North Korea, fuck you. Bro, y'all all one big ass country. Y'all the same people. You got this devil between you, but that's because the sword, what you do with a sword? You cut a cake in half. You could split a cake in half. You could divide it up in 4. That motherfucker drew an imaginary line with that sword, bro. And really got them really on some South and North Korea shit. Cold War, Berlin. Another one. 1961 to 1989. A whole long-ass Cold War. Cold War era. Look at that. Korean War, Vietnam War. Oh, yeah, the brothers who fought in Vietnam. The Vietnamese, right? The Jakes who went out there. That's where you get that whole with stuff where they brought the drugs. And it was all over them bringing drugs and stuff like that. Also, them expensive trees where you get the oud wood was in Vietnam. Okay? The Vietnam War, Tet Offensive of 1968. Persian Gulf War, Operation Desert Shield, Operation Desert Storm, right? The only thing you niggas know about Desert Storm is DJ Clue with Fabulous. Desert Storm, right? Operation Restore Hope, Somalia. They pulled up on them, man. I'm just saying. This dude is pulling up in people's homes, bro. Al-Qaeda pulled up on them. Let's roll. Never forget 9/11. Al-Qaeda attack American World Trade. This is, war in Afghanistan. Enduring freedom. They stayed there 2014. Operation Neptune Spear. What the fuck is that? For God and country. Geronimo. See, there be shit that you don't even know going. That's why I say, Jake, and what were you doing back in these years? This is the time you was around. What was you doing? This is what he was doing. That old nigga was on a bus, model bus, was 70 years old. All right. Where was you when he was doing Let's Roll, Operation Never Forget, Operation Geronimo? That sound crazy. All right. First Infantry, he's just honoring them. Okay. But yeah, man, that's about it. Man. Yeah, man, that's about it. So he never stopped warring. And he got more wars to fulfill. That's why we read the second war was past, behold, the third war coming quickly. Revelation 17. The beasts, they're gonna war against each other. Okay? Revelation 17. 17 and 16. 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples, multitudes, and nations and tongues. You're right. He ruling over everybody. That's what that means. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. War. All right. And oh yeah, and the 10 horns, going back to the EU, European Union, all right, the beast, NATO, all right, they're gonna all come together and burn the whore. The whore, who? America, okay? And eat her flesh, burn her with fire by way of thermonuclear destruction, all right? And that's war, man. What else? Yeah, like I said, I mean, and if I had the ability to, I would try to comb through that whole Punic Wars and Daniel's 11, which is, that'll be hours. And then, a lot of good research, but this whole thing right here will go into Esau warring history. The Silo-Syrian Wars, then the Punic Wars. I mentioned it, Punic Wars. Okay. This is between Rome and Carthage. Okay. All right. Punic Wars, a series of wars fought between Rome and Carthage. These conflicts between these states took place both land and sea across the Western Mediterranean. And involved a total of 43 years of warfare, bro. 43 years of fighting. Come on, man. The Second Punic War began in 218 BC and witnessed Carthaginian General Hannibal's crossing of the Alps, all right? Invasion of mainland Italy. So, Hannibal Barca, right? So, once again, these are the wars now this is more so on the Roman side, all right? They got the third Roman. This is when they took over Africa. So you do, Africa. Well, it was taken over by Scipio Africanus. This was his. This is why you niggas need to read some of this stuff, man. Scipio, in early 147 BC, Scipio Aemilius, an adopted grandson of Scipio Africanus, who had distinguished himself during the previous 2 years of fighting, was elected consul and took control of the war. The Carthaginians continued to resist vigorously. They constructed warships during the summer twice, gave battle to Rome fleet, losing both times. The Romans launched an assault on the walls After confused fighting, they broke into the cities, but lost in the dark, withdrew. Hasdrubal and his army retreated into the city to reinforce the garrison. Hasdrubal had Roman prisoners tortured to death on the walls. In the view of Roman army, he was reinforcing the will to resist and Carthaginian citizens. From this point, there could be no possibility of negotiations. Some members of the city council denounced his actions, and Hasdrubal had them put to death and took control of the city with no Carthaginian army in the field. Those cities which had remained loyal went over to the Romans or were captured. Okay? Scipio moved back close to the blockade of the city and built a mole which cut off supply from the sea. Trade. See, that's why a lot of these trade wars is leading to real wars. Because you cutting off the supplies, the access. All right? In the spring of 146 BC. See, Esau, this nigga, where's your farm, first of all? The nigga worrying about an army. You got all this army, but how you going to supply anybody food, nigga? Where you going to go? To Publix, Whole Foods? Where you going to go? Where's your farm? The nigga's so bugged out. He talking about raising an army. How you going to raise an army? Where you going to feed them with? First of all, even if you did go out and buy a bunch, which we ain't condoning none of that, even if you dumbass went out there and brought shit up, how you gonna feed these dudes? So when you start warring and they oust your ass, right? Where you gonna do? You gonna be warning, time out, and go take their dollars with your account and go buy food? You stupid. You sound stupid, bro. That's just pure stupidity. Scipio launched major assaults, which quickly captured the city's main square, where the legions camped overnight. Legions of men, the armies. The legion is a certain amount of soldiers. The next morning, the Romans started systematically working their way through the residential part of the city, killing everyone they encountered and firing the buildings behind them. At times, the Romans progressed from rooftop to rooftop to prevent missiles being hurled down to them. It took 6 days to clear the city of residents. Only on the last day did Scipio take prisoners. The last holdouts, including Roman deserters and Carthaginian service, fought on from the temple of Eshmon and burnt it down around themselves when all hope was gone. There were 50,000 Carthaginian prisoners, a small portion of the pre-war population who was sold into slavery. All right. There is a tradition of Rome forces then sold the city with salt. Wow. But this have been shown to have been a 19th century invention. There's a tradition that Roman forces that sold the city with salt. Spreading salt of cities raised by conquerors. Wow. This hit me where the Lord said, biblical narrative, Judges 9:45. Esau, go off on, they saying Judges 9:45. But it just reminded me where the Lord said, it's good for nothing but to be trampled on. I wonder why they sold it with salt. But been like for the city all that day. He took the city, he slew the people that was there and beat them down the city and sold it with salt. It's different. Yeah, so that's a whole nother outlook of something. But man, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. There's a lot to go into with a lot of these stories. They ain't even, scratch the surface with going into some of these things, especially even dealing with the Syrian war, because you dealing with the whole thing of the whole book of Maccabees. All right, the whole book of Maccabees is in that, and you get the revolt, okay, the rebellion, all right, in which the high holy day, Hanukkah. But Jake once again fought. There's very few times Jake fought in a sense of the Lord. Last time Jake probably, like I said, King David's time kicking the mass the Hamites. When they, with King and with also with Joshua, beyond those times, like Jake really was just chilling. All right, but this dude never stopped fighting, man. He never stopped warring. All right, and it was always in his heart, man. All right, so with that being said, man, I want to say call hello, Yamla Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Bashim Kagadash, Brakatay Yahweh Brakatay Yahweh Brakatay Yahweh Brakatay Bashim Kagadash for allowing me to do this lesson. Till next time, I say Shalom.